Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. Nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie, przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy. I musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.
Good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers of the Keshe Foundation, a spaceship institute around the world. We hope it'll be a beautiful summer day in the northern hemisphere, it'll be a nice winter day in the southern hemisphere. But either way, we receive the same energies of the universe and we enjoy life in this, what I call dynamic UFO, we call it planet Earth, that we are traveling around the universe within our own solar system, and we are totally ignorant to it because we are born in it. We never take notice of it. How it takes us around, we see the whole universe freely. We don't pay for it. We consume its energy to get from one point to another in the universe. We don't pay for it. And has become for us, we take it as granted. We cannot live without it, and in a way is part of us in the structure of the life of the universe. In the past week, in a couple of teachings, we have referred to something especially for it to be more expanded on in the teaching of today. We have a reason for it. This is part of our set out with what is to come up with the peace plan, expansion of peace process, and negotiations with what we call the rights of every man to have access to all the knowledge of the creation, as we've done in Keshe Foundation. In the teaching in past week, it has been important for us to open the chapter, what is important to us, and it has been ignored. It has been kept in the backfire deliberately that we do not get what we used to have. If you were a student like me in 1970s and 80s, we had a Greenpeace movement, which every time somebody said something about nuclear, they were on the streets and banners, ban the nuclear and the rest of it. Because at that time, it was good for Russia to push the, what we call Western nation to work against nuclear. And it was financed heavily through the different channels to stop the nuclear, what we call development in the West, financed by the East. And then we saw Chernobyl, and then we saw what we call Fukushima. And we came to a point that suddenly we don't want to know anymore. And every one of us thinks that the nuclear industry has come to an end. Nobody's doing anything about it. In fact, what is important is that nuclear industry has never expanded so rapidly in one place and in different places at the same time. This is a misconception by many knowledge seekers and people who are just thinking about our work, that why over past years I keep on talking about nuclear plasma technology, not nuclear technology. But nuclear technology has never been so live. Today, as we speak, as I explained in other teachings, is that there are 15 nuclear power stations under construction around the world. We never had this. The maximum we can recall back was 2025 and 30 in plan and progress. We have 420 operating, semi-operating nuclear reactors today, but 50 are getting added today, are getting built around the world. We expect another 50 by 2030, 2040 to be start and going. By mid-century, we are expecting 300 more nuclear reactors, higher order, higher power, to come into operation. The world economists and the governments are turning their back on the coal and oil and investing heavily in nuclear industry, but this time silently, very silently. It's extremely profitable. It's one of the most profitable businesses governments have ever got into. One power station costs around about $30 billion. And when you put 50 of them together at it now and 50 in plan, you understand it's become one of the big gamers. With 30 billion, you can make many, many gas-fired reactors, what we call power stations and oil and the rest of it. But governments are going for nuclear. At the moment, there are 50 sites under construction in 19 nations. It's not anymore China or Russia or United States or England. 19 nations are building heavily. They're supporting themselves for the eventuality when the oil runs out, but at the same time to be independent to support. From Dubai to Saudi Arabia to Singapore to China and everywhere else, they are heavily involved. We are building in UK, we are building in US. And their list is released by IAEA, what we call the monitoring system for nuclear industry. The whole structure of a nuclear has never been so vibrant. We see two heavily advanced systems being built by the Chinese in trying to process what we call high efficient nuclear materials for whatever purposes they do. We cannot accuse, but the places and the way these two systems are built are heading towards production of the what I call highly efficient pure materials. And so we see that nuclear industry is very vibrant, but you don't hear anything on the news. They don't let you. Just tap it in on Google it, and you will see. You get the list of the countries which are building, have built. There are a few will coming operational in the next 12 months and 24 months and 3 years. In so many ways, nuclear industry is alive, is kicking, but silently. But there is a big problem. What is going to happen? With 420 we have now, another 50 added, another 50 coming on, and then by mid-century, we have 700 nuclear reactors. Some stations of the past are getting repaired. Some are getting touched up. Some are getting revamped. But in any case, $30 billion now costs to put one station up. It was a fraction of this in 1970s when I was a student and we're contemplating to build. But the thing is that this technology has become a cartel. 3 or 4 nations can only produce nuclear materials and then sell it, operate it, control the others. Nobody else can what I call do preparation. Nobody can clean the fuel rods. Nobody can do anything unless they do. Germany, United States, England to a part has tried, diverted from it. Russia and China. And Japan is not allowed to do much, but they're still building new nuclear reactors in a different way without many people know. In so many ways, a cartel has been established, and this cartel is trying to run profitably, each one taking its cut. And why I brought this subject up is because as we start negotiating for peace, not only between Iran +5+1, but for all the nations who are involved in it. Nuclear plasma technology is part of the technology of the space technology. Without it, we cannot travel. Without it, we cannot reach to the depth of what we call universe. As we said, our plan is 6th of June, 2022, attempting to fly from Earth to Moon in less than 1 hour. This is what we plan to do as part of the Iranian program, Keshe Foundation program, and in bringing other nations to be. One of the reasons you see 5+1 so heavily on Iran is because Iran is cutting into the piece of cake. Iran can produce and prepare and clean up much faster, much cheaper, which then it pushes nations to look outside. Iran has the technology to develop build nuclear power stations, and cartel doesn't like it. The sanctions on Iran is 90% built for this to be stopped, that they can keep what they call the cartel. And this is part of what we need to understand. What are we going to do, even with the Iran nuclear material, which is in hand? The weapon technology with the new technology of Keshe Foundation is obsolete. Producing nuclear plasma for deep space travel brings a new dimension, new science, new way of living and traveling for all of us. This is what is important to all of us to know. We are putting one more step towards another accident. We are putting one more step towards possible damages by nuclear reactors which are out of control. It has happened to us many times. We've seen it with Fukushima. We've seen it with Chernobyl. We've seen it in occasions in different countries. We have a 3 Mile Island situation, even though very small. And then what's going to happen? What is our children going to do? What is the future of nuclear industry in these countries? There are 2 solutions: containment, finding somewhere today, or using a new plasma technology to contain with a gravitational system all the fields within the building. We are not offering a system to bury nuclear power stations material, a new knowledge, a new technology. In a way, gravitational field system to be built below the nuclear reactors of today by Iranian nuclear physicists, that on the time when we want to shut down, we switch these reactors off. Understanding the knowledge of nuclear, understanding the gravitational magnetic field of the creation of systems, we keep these reactors running, but we absorb the fields and everything else into the ground. This is unknown knowledge to the present nuclear industry. We don't need to find another hole to bury our own mistakes. And even if a system runs out, you won't see the system we saw with Fukushima, where the explosion will release everything out. We can develop, and in a way we have developed a system which is already operational in one of Keshe Foundation sites, where we absorb, create a local gravity, and we absorb the fields inside. What this means, it means no nuclear reactor using our technology will ever run into possibilities of Fukushima or Chernobyl. This is unknown, and this is a part of the technology which we offer in exchange for peace from the Iranian scientists. We understand the process, and part of nuclear proliferation is this. Let us use nuclear, but we build a safety factor, which has not been available. This is part of our work in the coming time. This is what we offer, and this is what is on the table of negotiation. Iran advanced nuclear technology in exchange for world peace. In a way, we create a condition that no nation can create nuclear materials. With it, we allow nuclear plasma technology to be developed, but we don't allow nuclear weapon technology to take hold. In so many ways, what's the guarantee that all these 50 nuclear reactors built today will not go up the blue the first week, the first year, or somewhere during the operation? There has to be an alternative, and this alternative is on the table with the knowledge we have in the plasma technology. In a way, we create maglev systems, especially designed to absorb these kind of things. We need to do this. This is not a knowledge which we develop for what we call nuclear industry. This is a knowledge we have developed, and it's in your patents, that we develop for space, deeper space. What kind of fields we want to absorb from the environment? We are short of oxygen. We are short of carbon. We are short of magnetic gravitational field plasmas of aluminium. We switch our system in our reactors anywhere in the universe, and we absorb the field strength of that to the system. We create oxygen as we need. We create aluminium as we need. This is part of the technology which will be given and traveled and delivered for the new power stations. What I said, and I suggested to our nuclear physicists, we need to make underground tunnel even under the 420 nuclear reactors we are operating today, to place these, what I call maglev systems, underneath them, that does not allow them to leak, does not allow no nuclear material to go beyond the boundary of the nuclear reactors. As I said many times before, we saw this when I was a student at Queen Mary College. We found out in the research that the nuclear material reaches beyond the boundary of the university reactors, and it was shut down immediately after completion of my report to the university. The following year, they shut the nuclear reactor down because we are radiating inside the City of London. In this way, this has been part of the understanding to bring this situation under control, to make a nuclear industry, to make sure situations like Fukushima and Chernobyl does not happen. We don't need to dump on top. We don't need to put concrete on top. We don't need to find ways to dismantle something. Doesn't matter what happens, we absorb it internally. The inner core of the planet Earth is made of nuclear plasma technology. We just feed it back where it comes from. In so many ways, the new Keshe Foundation space technology is not just for deeper space. We can change things on this planet. We can make nuclear industry a safe industry. And we take our position as part of the negotiation +5+1. This is the announcement from the Iranian nation and the Iranian authorities. In a way, we walk away from 5+1 because we have too much advanced nuclear technology to bother with the child's gameplay, which is that nuclear technology in exchange for peace for all of us. Every nation has to have access to the nuclear plasma technology to be able to develop their own space technology, to be able to develop their own energy resources, to be able to go advance with what they have. Why do we see Africa suffering so much heavily? They have no nuclear industry. And all the national resources and the rivers and everything else has been used to the full. A continent suffers from the lack of energy because they cannot afford 30 billion. And the West and the China and the rest, by stealing and borrowing from the others and themselves and their nation, are building these to guarantee their income. They guarantee their energy resources. With the new plasma technology, we give a balanced, fair chance to every nation, be it United States, to Africa, to Asia, and the rest. The new understanding of the space technology is for all of us, and that's why we teach so openly. This is what we sit for and what we stand for: knowledge in exchange for peace. In so many ways, the new nuclear industry can grow as much as it likes, but for the first time, we have a safety guarantee. We have the knowledge to create these conditions that we can develop. We can enjoy the pleasures of the nuclear technology, but we put what we call safety factor in, automatic safety factors. We don't need to have a runaway situation when the nuclear reactor starts. The first steps of meltdown and runaway, what we call maggraph systems underneath the reactor go into operation, absorbing it, not allowing the meltdown position we saw in Fukushima and Chernobyl. This is part of our new technology. This is part of the Keshe Foundation technology in conjunction and cooperation with the Iranian nuclear industry. The technology belongs to all of us, and we should have the benefit of it. In so many ways, no one can build any more nuclear reactors unless we have certification that the maggraph system underneath the building works, can absorb, cannot allow radiation out. It's the same as we said in the system we have built for the space technology. We protect ourselves with shielding. For the first time, we have a protection that nothing can come in. This time we absorb that nothing can get out. In so many ways, understanding of the new technology in the nuclear industry cannot go further if the technology of the new plasma technology as the nuclear side of it is not understood. We offer technology in exchange for peace from the Keshe Foundation to world governments. In so many ways, nuclear industry becomes a savior for all of us. In a way, we can use the materials from the nuclear reactors in an appropriate way to build the stations, to build reactors, can take man to the depths of the universe. As I said before, there are 3 different kinds of radiation. And as the knowledge of the man increases and expands, then man can expect to travel deeper, to travel faster, to break barriers of the nation's color and race, does not matter on planet Earth or beyond. In so many ways, today's teaching is very simple. We have to think the correct way for all of us. We have to bring apparatus and systems that protect all of us. We have to expand the knowledge of humanity beyond the present dimension. This technology sits for that purpose. In so many ways, the new dimensions of the understanding of dynamic plasma, even for example, in case of corona, will be very easy. You just need to put a system in the middle of the city which absorbs the strength of the virus. 1 second there, 1 second not there. This is what we have developed in the Keshe Foundation, new what we call enhancement units. In so many ways that in a spaceship of tomorrow, if we come across a field strength that could be behaving or endanger all of us, we just need to tune into the strength and what we call extract. The same thing as we do with the nuclear reactors if they run away. We extract a specific field strength. In so many ways, we have fire detectors, we have smoke detectors. Now we can develop technology which extracts and detects and protects nuclear reactors, nuclear industry, even to be on a spaceship, what we call plasma reactors. We open a new horizon in the world of science and technology. And as I recommended to my leaders in Iran and the Iranian new president, we walk away from 5+1 because we are the totality of the knowledge put together, and we have more to offer. Our knowledge as a knowledge seekers of what we call nuclear industry should be a credit, not a danger, not to be perceived danger. Iran has to be what we call part of the nuclear cartel, that we provide the exclusivity of technology for safety, and extraction of nuclear material from power stations. In a way, as I said to my leaders, no nuclear power station should be built unless it's certified by the Iranian nuclear physicist safety people that it has a capability to extract all radiations from the environment of the nuclear reactor into the ground. In a way, we bring a new dimension. In a way, we bring a new technology. And in a way, we have to be part of the new space technology as knowledge seekers, as Keshe Foundation, as a one nation. In so many ways, we are not putting a hand of friendship out. We are putting hand of science out to be able to protect all of us. In so many ways, nuclear industry today, which has been hidden from you, is active, alive, and kicking, and waiting for the next explosion like Fukushima, or like what we saw in Chernobyl, and the others which have never been announced. In so many ways, it's time to add the space technology to the present knowledge. In a way, to add to our knowledge, to make it safer for us, to make it safer for our new generation, to make it safer for our children and grandchildren. And it does not matter where they go, on this planet or beyond, they're safe on this planet from nuclear reactors, in the space from viruses, and somewhere else from something else. In a way, our knowledge is not complete. The next step, when a man takes into space and goes beyond this galaxy, man needs to learn more about deep space fields transformation, oceans of fields, which most of them, as we've seen in our planet, different airs, different conditions of environment, they are the same. And we need to understand more about cosmic rays. We need to understand how to extract those part of it, which becomes part of our life, can become advantageous to us, can become part of our process of understanding the part of the totality of the creation. In so many ways, we ask the American administration, the Chinese, and the Russians to listen to the teaching of today. The message is very simple. We have developed technologies which is unknown, and in the process, we will open up the technology to all. In so many ways, it should not be exclusivity, but it has to be a must. No nuclear reactor with the knowledge which is in the hand of Iranian nuclear physicists should be opened up without certification that the fields can be absorbed into the ground, can be buried, can be taken out and put in a place as a fields of the strength of this planet that no nuclear explosion can happen. This makes it impossible for nations to use nuclear weapon technology. In so many ways, missile technology is buried. This is why in Iran we announced many times, we are not interested in nuclear missiles technology because it has no use. And secondly, with the technology in our possession, you can drop one, we can drop one, absorb whatever you try to explode. It's very simple. In a way, if you look at what we saw in Hiroshima, if we can drop immediately another system inside, within the range, we can absorb all the fields back to this point. 1 second nuclear, next second none. Now you understand why nuclear weapon technology is obsolete. We have created a deterrent for it. We have developed technologies which become deterrent to it. What's the use of making something which is nothing? Nuclear power superiority has hit the what we call rock bottom levels of it. The new understanding, the new plasma nuclear technology, what can do can write off all the dangers of behind and what we've done in front and what it will do to all of us in our history. In so many ways, mankind has to enter a new phase. Mankind has to enter a phase to understand that whatever he can make to destroy, we understand the process of it. We understand it's made of fields, and we understand we can change the fields. My advice to the American administration, to the Chinese leadership, to the Russian administration, the same, is let's talk big boys game, understanding the technology and delivering a new technology that does not give one nation superiority just because it can kill more. A nation should be respected for its knowledge that it can save more. And this comes out of the Iranian nation and Iranian nuclear physicists. We offer safety. We offer protection if mistakes happen. And in a way, with this new technology, we make the nuclear industry of America, China, and the rest obsolete. In so many ways, mankind has reached a new level. And in so many ways, once the nation loses the superiority of killing, nations become equal. In a way, peace becomes not optional, but becomes a must. In a way, we can change a lot of things. We can bring a lot together collectively as human beings to develop than destroy. My message to His Excellency President Biden is simple. Talk peace in Tehran. We invite you to Tehran. And this is the backing by the Iranian leadership and the new president of Iran. We do not bend, but we deliver technologies that makes you ashamed in what you do and what you've done. We stand resolute for world peace and a new knowledge. My knowledge belongs to humanity, but not by the suffering of one or the other, for the others to prove they can bully, they can cajole, and they can lie and cheat. The new nuclear plasma technology puts an end to all the fears of technology. As I said many times before, the reason as nuclear physicists we are respected because we have shown that we can kill in mass. And then when you put the Iranian in front of it with what they put out, makes it more fearful. Now, when you hear an Iranian nuclear physicist, you respect and honor the knowledge that they brought, the knowledge to change everything of the past. In a way, knowledge in exchange for peace is on the table of negotiations from Iranian new Office of Administration and His Eminence Al-Fahamni of Iran and the Keshe Foundation. We do not walk away from nuclear agreements. We see them as obsolete. In a way, we open the doors of Iranian nuclear industry, nuclear plasma industry, to all the nations. It has to be equal. It has to be fair that the scientists in South Africa, in Namibia, in London, in Beijing, in Tehran, all collectively develop their own ways to find new ways, new science in helping their and the citizens on this planet. In so many ways, it becomes like computers. Different nations develop different part of it, and we all benefit by it. When an app is made or a new program is made, we all use it freely, we get access to it. And this is how the Plasma Technology Foundation has to become part of the same process. In so many ways, my call and the call of the Iranian administration is very simple. New government, new opportunity, and new world peace for all of us. In so many ways, mankind has to know what is the capability of Iranian nuclear physicists that can bring peace, security, and absolute certainty that man can be in the space. As I said, we invite the American president to Tehran, no condition attached. And at the same time, we are prepared to open embassies in Tehran and Washington, no condition attached. You can keep your sanctions because you're sanctioning yourself from the knowledge while we teach it to the others. unless the old habit of stealing on the sideline still exists within the American, the British, and other administrations. In so many ways, we open our nuclear industry to the world, the new plasma technology, and technology that can change all of us. Even we can drill under the present Fukushima and Chernobyl and place these systems to extract and hold and change the environment with the guarantees that everyone can do what they like and live a normal life. You will see and you'll come across these in your travels in the deeper space. We will see explosion of stars. We will see explosion of planetary systems, which run out of control. Why we are the citizens, why we have passengers of Earth on these units. We need to have this technology, first of all, to contain, secondly, to extract. In so many ways, the opportunity with the new knowledge is so vast that we need to bring all the universities of this planet to work towards new understanding. Keshe Foundation, in a short time, hopefully will announce the opening of one of the largest university sites of the Keshe Foundation. If our negotiation goes positive, we will open a 30,000 square meter university for all scientists to come and learn. We hope we come to negotiation by the end of this year. And on completion, we open the doors to up to 3,000 world scientists to learn together within the structure of the Keshe Foundation, the new technology. We are striving to change the position, but we cannot let one nation to suffer for the other cartels to show they have the power to do what they like. In so many ways, we need advanced nuclear preparation technology of Iran and other nations to be able to produce the fuels for mankind's deep space travel. Iran, what we call nuclear preparation fuels, at up to 92% in coming months is needed if man wants to go into deep space. The reason for it is, as we look for purest gold, to have the purity to do our test, in the space travel, we need the purest radiation fields that we have no accident by creating other fields within our reactor to be diverted or to be absorbed or be pushed away from one destination or other. Nuclear plasma technology needs purity of the nuclear material to be able to do 99 enrichments within the next 6 months or 12 months by the Iranian nuclear physicists is needed to become certain. We take off from Earth, we land on the moon with no problems that other field radiation should be. In a physical dimension, we looked for 99.99 purity of gold. In the new plasma technology, we look for 99.99999 with pure mono fields from the purest one element system. This is why I support the Iranian nuclear plasma proliferation, because it gives us that stepping stone to have a pure field, no dimensions of any deviation or absorption of other materials. In so many ways, what was put to be a problem as actually is the solution. As has been announced by the Iranian leaders, we have reached 60% purity in April. We announced Iran will reach 92 to 99% within the next 6 months, which allows us to travel with the pure plasma materials of monoenergetic, exactly the way it is within the center of every planet. In so many ways, if you build magraphs, you know what I'm talking about. If you put a wrong turn, you create a wrong field opposite to the other, your magraph system doesn't work, or it doesn't work as best efficient way to do. As you have created different fields in a different direction. It's the same with the space technology. We need pure fields that are mono, that are in a plasma condition, and are energetic enough to be able to create lift and motion. Monoplasma technology is a gift from the Iranian nuclear physicists to humanity. We will achieve it in a pure way. And at the same time, this is why we said Iran has to be part of the new cartel in nuclear industry. Not only we add to the knowledge for the space travel, we bring the security to the present nuclear reactors that they will never run out of control. In a way, knowledge in exchange for peace is the new layout of the Iranian administration and government and leadership. We work in one way. We bring on the table the knowledge you could dream of as a reality of totality. You can keep your sanctions for your own pocket. We sanction you with the knowledge. We share the knowledge with what you call the third world to pass you faster than you could ever imagine. When we have people of South Africa on the moon and Mars in early next year, American scientists can still work on the plasma reactors, hoping to land in Mars in 2030 if they can. My call goes to Mr. Nelson at the head of propulsion for Mars mission in NASA. Open the channel of talk. We invite you to our base in Arizona. We teach you if you do not like, or you can come with your president to Iran. We show you how it's done. In so many ways, we are proud to be a nation of scientists and developers of the new technology. I will not allow not a single Iranian nuclear physicist to be touched or to be killed. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. If one more Iranian nuclear physicist is touched, we withdraw the knowledge from the nation who does it. And you will feel it. You will understand what we're talking about. In a way, no scientist anywhere in the world has to be touched. Scientists have to be respected as the prophets because they bring change to the world of man. In a way, mankind has to move up and get out of this dogma of wanting to be, but be part of to be. In so many ways, my call goes onto the American administration and especially to His Excellency President Xi of China. We are all friends and we work as one, but knowledge in exchange for peace, it comes peace for every man on this planet, not between the nations. These are fine, that there is food, there is energy, and there is shelter on demand. It's the responsibility of all of us to be responsible for all of us, irrespective of color, religion, and race, and what we call stupidity of making sanctions on the back of what we call, which doesn't exist anywhere in the universe, except what we call man's greed for power. In so many ways, today's teaching is very simple. We have opened a new phase of negotiation with all the nations, irrespective of their what we call political dimensions. We expect one thing out of our negotiation. The new administrations in all countries have to accept that there should be no kingship. There should be no one above another, but we work as one. We see the end of kingships in all the countries which have kings. A king can be a king in his own house, not over the others. This is part of the structure to come. No one is above another. And the old habit of I am better and I'm a king has to finish. This is part of what we will see enforced by most of those who will take the new technology in hand. We have a very clear message for those who think we play game. Play with us, you see the benefit. Work against us, you damage yourself, not us. It's you who is going to fall behind. As I said, the new administration, a new cycle of life means total change for all of us. In so many ways, in the past times, we always looked at who has the better gun to kill to be powerful. From now on, we look who has the best technology to serve to be powerful. Serving humanity is part of the work of becoming what we call as part of universal community. The choice of peace has to be no choice, but has to be there, that we don't have to choose. Like air we breathe, like water we drink. Peace has to be part of our lives, as we know we have everything we need. We can have everything we need. At the same time, working has to become a pleasure, not way to feed yourself just to survive. This habit of man will change. We have no factories, and we cannot produce things in the space for man just to sell, to be happy that he changes piece of paper or numbers on the computer. In so many ways, I hope many of you will understand. And as we ask the American administration to listen to the teaching of today, we have conveyed a new message from Tehran. Micro, soft. Is micro and soft. His mentality is very micro, and everything else with him is soft. So we'll leave it to them to dream what they like to dream. And let's see what he gets. You never know.
Okay, thank you. We'll leave it at that. Salamia is asking in the Q&A, is there a link, or what would be the link between quantum science and plasma science? Is there a connection?
There is no connection. A lot of scientists, a lot of people in a very recent past, even the quantum used to exist, they took the Keshe Foundation and they changed the name to quantum that is not connected to Keshe Foundation. Chinese government a few years ago arrested a number of Chinese who did this as a fraud. One of them, if you remember, we had a guy who used to translate for us, Charles. He unknowingly was involved with these guys, that they took the Keshe Foundation technology and changed it to quantum. And they tried to sell it to the Chinese government as a new technology, and few Chinese have tried this. And this has taken hold now. They changed the Keshe plasma technology to quantum to be able to bypass a lot of things, but gradually it's coming up and everybody's becoming aware of it. Plasma is what you call a GANS, is a single molecular system of plasma. And we cannot go below that. And that's what quantum means, the smallest quantity. That's why this terminology was created from the beginning. So with the gas plasma technology, you are at singularity smallest. So you cannot go any lower, so they change the name the same. And that's what quantum means, the smallest amount of quantity. And they cannot be any smaller than single molecular GANs or single atomic GANs. So we are at the quantum level. We advanced that much in technology. What's the next question?
And in the past, you talked about the children of the future being born outside the womb of the mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's say hypothetically that there's a couple, both of them are 80 years old.
How many years?
80.
Yeah.
And they decide that they want to have a child.
Yeah.
And the woman is a Chinese and English speaking person, and the man is an Italian and an English speaking person.
Yeah.
When the child is created, do they come out with a knowledge of, in this case, 3 languages, English, Chinese, and Italian, automatically, or do they go through a growth cycle?
What we have seen in the past in the universe, the birth of a new cycle of life through the soul has no age limit. You can become parents at the age of what you call 200, because the essence of the life is within the body of the man. So age is irrelevant. And it depends how active you want to be in life. But the child will decide, the soul decides for the satisfaction of what and where and how. Which means the child carries all the languages. He understands the emotion of the language, and then is to the what we call to the ear of the hearer. In the coming time, because it's incomprehensible at the moment to speak, in a coming time, we'll open this chapter, is that when you dream, for example, of somebody in another dimension or another position, why do they always speak English? Or if you have a dream, why do they speak always Chinese? Because we translate the emotion to the language we understand. And at the same time, we can translate language to the emotion we understand. That the other side translates it to the language they understand. This is the beauty of universal communication. Man has denied this to himself. It goes back to what I said when you put a one-day-old Chinese child next to the English one, next to the Japanese one, they all understand what they're talking about. They understand their emotion. And this is the key to the success of man in the space. There's no more sign language. A friend of mine years ago went to Germany and he wanted an egg for breakfast. He didn't know what to say. And he started making a noise and shape of a chicken and showing an egg. And the woman understood, oh, he wants an egg for breakfast. We don't need that. We don't have the physical dimension. They don't have the eye to see. The language of the universe is the language of emotion. And then your body, the way you see it, translate it to your language. So the new generation of the children of the soul of the man know all the language of the universe because they work through the emotion of the soul. Don't worry about that part. That's been solved a long, long time.
Okay, so the reason why I asked that question is I want to take it one step further.
Are you 80?
No.
I'm
not.
Are you planning something?
No. So the reason I asked the question is because I've been experimenting with creating a spacecraft here in Arizona by placing, I'll say, 12 beings in a circle and
12 what? Beings or beings?
Beings.
Beings, yeah.
And asking each of them to add their soul to the collective soul that's being created. And in taking what you said already, the spaceship would come out where this collective soul that had been created by these 12 people would then have the collective understanding of everybody who participated in the process. And thus it wouldn't be this evolution where this new collective soul has to go through a 10-year learning process in order to become a spaceship.
What was the outcome of your test?
Of my what?
What's the outcome of your test, or is it something you want to do?
It's ongoing.
And what do you see?
I see that when I go into this energy field that I created, that there's a palpable energy field returned when I send energy field to it.
What does that mean? Explain.
So if I walk into this energy field that I created, I can feel all of a sudden a quickening of the heart and I'll say a connection to this field that I can't see, can't touch, but is there.
But is that 12 people are still there when you go in the field?
No. These are off-world beings that I've asked to support the co-creation of a spaceship with.
You haven't stopped experimenting. Can't you change your 12 magraphs now with 12 human beings now?
Yes.
Yeah, I understand what you're doing. And what's the result?
I'm trying to create this collective soul, because this collective soul is even stronger than the individual soul. And it's my feeling that this energy field will be how we create our spaceships of tomorrow.
In a way, when you go to certain points where this used to be practiced, now we see 12 statues. There used to be 12 people, and because of it, they made the 12 months and 12 sign of zodiac. If you look, understand, the whole principle is the same. Collective center, that if you get to that pivotal point, you should be able to have the understanding of the whole 12 systems. And if you follow it and you can centralize it, then you can do anything with it.
This was my feeling.
Yeah. It's like the one we see in south of England with 12 stones. We have had this for centuries. If people understood it, but you can put a reactor, or you can put you tried this with magraph systems, if you remember.
Yeah.
In essence, it's all the same. It depends if you can get to the pivotal. If you don't find a center pivotal point, if you don't want that period, it's very hard to be able to understand all 12. This goes back further into the teaching. Armand was there, and the knowledge seekers, when we were setting up the new table in the exhibition center past a few days, and the original table of the knowledge seekers who started in 2014 has been set in the meeting room with the chairs and everything. Is 2 on each side. We could have made it like 3 on each side and have the 12 points. I put a bowl in the center of this table when the first 7 knowledge seekers came in. And I said, when you, all 7 of you, reach the same understanding, this gas ball will light up. Because it becomes the pivotal point of the whole work. It receives energy enough that it lights up. And we've seen that done in the lighting of the plasma balls 3-4 years ago in the teaching. If you put the ball somewhere slightly off center, it won't happen. It has to be in the center. And it has to be what we call equal dimension. If you make it 12 and feed it to the center, then you can do it. But that's what you got to do. I think you'll find great communication if you go to the center of these people, be it physically or being emotionally or plasmatic wise. Otherwise, you're always short of the others.
Do you think a crystal could work in the center?
A crystal wall.
A crystal.
Could be, but you have to find out when the light comes up in that crystal.
Okay.
And is your crystal able to transfer emotional strength into physical dimension light?
I think most of them are, aren't they?
Some are, but not necessarily. It depends on the purity of the crystal. Many tests has been done by many scientists in respect to this.
Well, that's a big help.
Pardon?
That's a big help. Thanks for your answer.
You understand it. You have to position it till that light comes up.
Okay.
In a way, you can do that with a plasma, called plasma lasering, but it's very, very difficult to do that. And to find a mono field strength from 12 points at the same time in one center is not so easy.
Doesn't by just simply adding their soul and each of the beings creating a new soul, doesn't that do it? Like just like we're creating
In a way,
a baby,
to do it,
new
in a
child.
way to do it is to start from a level and become humble and see when you get enlightened. That's the point that you match all 12.
Yeah. That's what I'm working on. And that's what I figured the answer was.
Yeah, you become humble enough. Because you have to receive from all the same as you give back to all the same.
Mhm. Okay, thank you very much for your answer.
Thank you very much. I hope we see you very soon as the center of research between American Space Organizations and the Keshe Foundation and the Iranian scientists and the Chinese and the rest in Arizona.
I look forward to it.
Working on it. As I wrote to you this morning, my biggest problem is your administration. We are laying the path for what we call a scientific walk than a peace walk. We're trying to change the dynamism with science and technology, not with gun policy. Any other question?
We have our Thomas.